Do you know you can make jelly with violet flowers? 3 years ago, I heard about it from a family friend. Ever since, I look forward to making it each spring. Through the cooking process, the color changes from turquoise to dark green to deep blue to purple and then pink. Making this jelly is like doing a science experiment. It's such a fun and easy activity for kids to be a part of. My kids were entertained and having fun doing it for about an hour and a half. We picked enough to make 3 batches of jelly. Pick flowers that look healthy, fresh, and whole, and in areas that are clean and free of pesticides. To prepare them for canning, start by snapping the flower heads free from their stems and removing bugs or anything else that may have gotten into the jar. For each batch, I use about 2 cups of loosely packed blossom in a quart jar. The more flowers, the deeper the color. To make the jelly, I first need to make violet tea by pouring boiling water over the flowers until full. Each final batch of jelly makes about 5 to 6 cups of jelly. Give a quick stir with a narrow spoon. The wooden spoon was too big to stir with because of how full the jar was. As you stir, watch the clear water slowly change into aqua color. Each time I make this jelly, I still get surprised by all the colors it changes to and from. Allow the tea to steep for a couple of hours at room temperature. After the violets have infused, strain the flowers out of the tea. It's so neat the tea water is now deep green. Squeeze out as much liquid as possible. The blossom can go into the compost bin or throw it away. They probably can be incorporated in recipes. If you tried it, please let me know how it turns out and what you made with it. Either use the tea right away to make jelly or refrigerate it for a few days or freeze it for a few months for later use. I'd end up making jelly with mine a few days later. If you are canning your jelly, you will want to start the water bath pot before beginning, similar to what I'm doing here. There are different ways to prepare jars for canning. I like to wash mine and then sterilize them in hot water while making the jelly. Also check for chips and cracks on the jars and the rim. If there is even a small chip on the rim, it won't seal properly. Other things to use in this recipe are canning lids, jar rings, powder pectin. I'm weighing 1.8 ounces, or you can use 1 small box of powder pectin, 3.5 cups white sugar, 1/4 cup lemon juice, 4 cups violet tea, 6 to 8 quart pot, a jar lifter, a ladle, a funnel, and a clean rag. If you have kids, they will enjoy watching you add the lemon juice to the tea. The acid of the lemon rapidly changes from blue to purple.
What it looks like. That's cool. I'm going to make it all one chip.
Isn't it cool?
Yeah.
Don't follow my example here by using a small pot. I don't know why, but every time I make jelly, I always put my liquid in a small pot. Instead, use a deep pot about 6 to 8 quarts. Whisk in the pectin to keep it from clumping up. Bring in this to a boil and let it boil for 1 minute. Meanwhile, I'm going to take some hot water from here and pour it into the lid pot. I like to sterilize the lids, but if you use brand new lids, I don't think you have to. This is how my mom taught me to can, so that's the way I'm gonna do it. Gorgeous color. Stir frequently so it doesn't get sticky down the bottom. I forgot that I need room to add the sugar and room for it to boil. And so, anyway, it's coming to a boil, and let it boil for 1 minute. Once the 1 minute is up, I'm going to add sugar to it, stir it obviously, and then bring it back to a boil and let it boil for another minute. 1 minute is up. Adding the sugar. Stir it. It's boiling, so let it boil for 1 whole minute. You want it to be like rolling boil like that. You see why I needed a bigger pot? And you want to keep stirring so it doesn't get sticky on the bottom. A minute is up, so I'm going to turn off the heat and remove it off heat. Properly canned and sealed jars allow food to be stored at room temperature for at least 12 months. If not canned, the jelly should be stored in a container or a jar with lid on in the fridge and used within a few weeks. With the jar lifter, carefully remove a jar from the hot pot. Please remember that the jars, jelly, and pots are hot. Try not to get yourself burnt. You can skim this off, but I don't. I just leave it in there. The jelly will begin to set up fast, so fill the jars as soon as you can. Carefully ladle hot jelly into the jar, leaving some headspace about 1/4 through 1/2 inch at the top. Don't fill it all the way to the top. I like to stop where the neck ends. With a clean rag, dip it into the warm water and wipe the rim to remove any sticky spots of spilled jelly that could interfere with sealing. I'm going to use a corner of this, dip it in the hot water, and wipe this. Take a sterilized lid and ring out from the warm water and place them on top of the jar and secure in place by firmly tightening on the ring. Carefully with the jar lifter, put the completed jar back in the water until all the jars are filled. Once all the jars are back in the pot, cover them with at least 1 inch of water and put the lid on. Bring the water to a full boil and let it boil for 10 minutes. Prepare a place for jars to cool. I like to use a cooling rack to keep the hot jars from sitting directly on the countertop and a towel over the rack to catch the water. I'm going to let that boil for 10 minutes. Timer, off the heat, take the lid off, and let this calm down before take the jars out. If the rings have loosened a bit during the processing, don't tighten them up. Let the jars cool down completely before removing the rings for storage. If you hear some popping sounds, that's a good thing. That pop is a sound of a successful sealed jar. A way to check if the jar is sealed by pressing down the center of the lid. If it doesn't spring back up when you release your finger, the jar is sealed. If you've enjoyed watching this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. Until the next time, you have a good day.